Hello all you spacefaring empire-building cosmonauts. As always, I am Cosmic, and today we're going to be reviewing the new expansion to Stellaris, which is of course Stellaris Utopia. Utopia focuses on bringing in a ton of new in-game content that centers around expanding your empire through non-military means. It focuses on infrastructure of your empire, and it is giving you a ton of new options that are focused on that side of the game versus Leviathans, which was much more combat focused. I have to say that Utopia really does bring something new to the overall core game of Stellaris. So the first thing let's touch on is Ascension Perks. Now, Ascension Perks are essentially, they are skills that allow you to customize your empire in really unique ways, and they have a pretty dramatic effect upon your empire as you progress. So the game has a new currency, which is Unity Points, which are developed over the course of the game, and you can build new structures that produce Unity Points, and they also help with population happiness. As you accrue these Unity Points, you're able to adopt traditions. Empire traditions are different things. There's several tiers of these, several trees that focus on a specific type of government or a specific gameplay style. So you can adopt new traditions that focus on military. You can adopt new traditions that focus on science research. You can adopt traditions that focus on diplomacy. And putting these Unity points into these skill trees eventually will unlock an Ascension perk. Ascension perks themselves, they give you a really massive empire-wide bonus to something, and they open up really unique options for later on in the game. So, for example, you can unlock synthetic evolution, which means that you take what is your empire, the biologicals of your empire, and you combine them with synthetic evolution, which means that you are now cyborgs, essentially, and you have multiple options and disadvantages depending on what you want to do there. You can upgrade your empire. For example, if you are a fanatic spiritualist, you probably want to focus more on the psionic potential of your empire, and you'll be able to achieve that through transcendence, which will unlock very unique things for your empire that way. Ascension perks are a really great implementation for Stellaris. They make the empires and each playthrough a hell of a lot more unique than ever previous, and I have to say it is probably my favorite addition in Utopia. It is really rewarding. It really is varied. There's a lot of options that you can choose. There's a lot of paths that you can go down, and it really does make the mid to late game a hell of a lot more interesting. One of the main complaints about Stellaris, especially about the original game and the original implementation of that game, was the fact that it was very much war focused. It was difficult to really expand and manage your empire through more subversive techniques, and Utopia gives you that. What it does is you can now indoctrinate primitive cultures through observation post, which means that you are able to affect their ethics and use that to basically bring them into your empire, indoctrinate that species into your empire. They've added things to slavery, so there's now advanced slavery, meaning that you have a multiple of choices to what benefits slavery provides your empire. You have citizenship rights for the majority of things, and that's much more in detail now. So you can have full citizenship, you can have slaves, you can have slaves that have certain rights versus other races that don't have those same rights. You have synthetic populations that can also have full citizenship rights as you expand through the Ascension perk system. And it just gives you a lot more unique options and a lot more diversity within your empire itself. The government system has been changed as well so you can adopt new different civics and authorities, and it means that what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to play the game very differently than you would before. So for example, you can adopt a hive mind, which means that your entire culture has a single hive mind. What this means is you won't have any political strife, you won't have factions trying to break off, you will be unified throughout, but it does limit you in other ways. And the advanced government system has really expanded the scope of the empire management system within the game. A lot of these things have unlocked unique buildings, but there are two main unique buildings in Utopia that are really worth talking about. One is megastructures, two is habitat stations. Habitat stations themselves allow you to build these habitat stations in orbit of planets, and it really helps with the in-game progression, especially if your empire is surrounded by other empires. So if you don't have much space to expand and colonize other worlds, it allows players to continue progression by housing populations on these habitat stations, which means that you're able to grow as an empire. The next is megastructures. Megastructures are probably some of the best and most expensive structures in the game. They have a ton of prestige and, of course, statistical benefits to add in your empire, but they are very much like the wonders of civilization games, whereby they are very expensive to build, but they are very much worth it. So you can build Dyson spheres, you can build ring worlds, you know, basically halos, as you were. And these structures, while they do cost a lot to build and you don't get access to them until mid to late game, it is something that is well worth investing in. And again, it makes each individual playthrough and the races themselves much more unique than ever before. When you talk about Stellaris Utopia, of course, it once again coupled with a free in-game update that obviously improves the balance and the core gameplay of the base game itself. I have to say, what I loved most about Utopia, while I enjoyed the individual things and a lot of the changes that the free update made and a lot of the changes to the core gameplay, what I loved overall is the fact that it really does focus on making each race, each empire, and ultimately each playthrough a lot more unique. And that, for me, is critical, and I can't stress that enough. It really does change not only how you play the game, but also how you feel about each game. It really helps you to get really involved with your empire more so than ever before. You know, for me, the Cosmicium Empire, and previous to that, the Sovereignty, which was destroyed by a lovely fallen empire because those guys are assholes. The Imperium was a culture that I really felt that I created myself. It was a culture that they loved materialistic things and they also loved war, so why not combine the two? They were people who loved technology, and that meant that with the Utopia upgrades, I was able to really implement that into the society itself, into the gameplay itself. They loved technology. They wanted to have, you know, robot armies and robot servants, and eventually they got to a technological point whereby they were able to combine themselves with technology and become this, you know, cyborg synthetic race. And that, for me, that payoff and that adding a almost sub-story element to the game, whereby I was creating my own story with my empire itself through the technological progression of the game, was really, really rewarding. And it's something that, interestingly, I didn't think that I needed, but once I have it, I realised how bloody great, and I don't want it to ever change again. If I had one major complaint, it would be the price point of Utopia. $20 is a little bit pricey for the amount of content you get. Now, I'm not saying that that content is not impactful, because it very much is, and for any Stellaris fan or long-time player, Utopia is basically a must, and the fact that it is a must, I think Paradox know that it's a must, and so have priced it at $20. It is a little bit pricey for what you actually get. I have to say that I wouldn't change not having it, but for some people, I think think that the bank's update, in terms of the free update, it probably is worth it straight off the bat, and then possibly maybe waiting for a sale to pick it up a little bit cheaper. That said, if you are a die-hard hardcore fan, then $20 is probably worth it to you, just for the amount of content and the amount of hours that you will get to put in. For the expanded options in terms of how you indoctrinate races, in terms of the Ascension Perks, the progression systems, the new buildings, $20 is probably worth it for you, but I think it is a little bit pricey for just the average user, and it might be worth waiting until it's on sale to pick it up a little bit cheaper. The content itself is absolutely solid, and I have to say that Stellaris is probably my favourite 4X game of the past, 5, maybe even longer years, and it keeps getting better. It keeps getting better. I absolutely love it to pieces, but certainly at the price point of $20, if you are not a hardcore die-hard fan who needs it right now, it might be worth waiting until it's a little bit cheaper. And that is my review of Stellaris Utopia. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, make sure to subscribe and share the video around on social media. If you are thinking about purchasing the game straight away, you can use the link in the description below to White Tie Games, and I get a percentage of that cut, so it helps out the channel. And as always, I will see you next time.